Welcome to the class of Advanced Social History. Today's chapter will be Ruling the Countryside. So in this chapter we will see how East India Company rules India. Okay, the company gets the right of collecting revenue, Diwani right. After getting this right, how the company becomes the ruler. Okay, and countryside means mainly the village areas. Okay, so what is the occupation of the people of village areas? Mainly agriculture. So from agriculture the company will collect revenue. Now in this chapter we will see what kind of revenue settlements the company introduced to collect revenue. Okay, even earlier than the company's rule, the people, okay, they have given revenue to their rulers. Okay, so now this system will be applied again to collect more revenue, okay, by the company. So what kind of revenues settlements were introduced, we will see that, and what kind of agricultural improvement they have done. Okay, the settlements were permanent settlement, Rayatwari settlement, Mahalwari settlements. So in different places there were different kind of revenue settlements. Okay, in Bengal side there was permanent settlement, in the southern and southwestern side there was Rayatwari settlement, in the northern side there was Mahalwari settlement. Okay, so what the peasants actually cultivated before the company's rule, and now what kind of cultivation they will do. Okay, mainly for European countries, what kind of cultivation they will do. Okay, mainly for the profit of the company, indigo was encouraged, indigo cultivation. Indigo, it was used as a dye. Okay, so this plantation was encouraged, and this was really hard for the peasants because they had to cultivate indigo at the cost of their food crops. Okay, the places where rice was cultivated earlier, now they have to cultivate indigo, and that is for whose benefit? That is for the benefit of the company. So as a result of this, we will see in this chapter that some problems arise, like the riots. Okay, peasants, they have revolted against this system of the companies, which is also called Blue Rebellion. And also we will see Mahatma Gandhi's role in it, mainly in Champaran, where the rebellion of in related to indigo started. Okay, so basically this was a brief explanation of the chapter, introduction of the chapter. So let us come to the first topic, the company becomes the diwan. How the company becomes the diwan now? It was during the time of Robert Clive. Okay, the Mughal emperor, he appointed East India Company as the Diwan of Bengal. What does Diwan mean here? That means the East India Company will now be able to collect revenue, okay, from the people of Bengal. And this granting of Diwani by the Mughal emperor was a great event according in the memories of the British. Okay, they regarded this as a great event. It was their great achievement actually, because this through this they are getting a chance to rule and extract more revenue from the people. Okay, which will go into their hands directly. And in Bengal, the company became the chief financial administrator of the territory. That means Bengal. Okay, so they will now control every financial problems or every kind of financial administration will be under their hand now. Okay, the Mughal emperor will not interfere here. It will be under the company's control. Now as they are required to collect the revenue, they are getting a chance to collect the revenue. So what will happen now? They will organize or administer this land and organize the revenue system. Okay, the earlier revenue system will not be used by them, earlier revenue collecting system, they will style a new revenue system now. Okay, why they are required to organize a new revenue system? Because from the earlier revenue system they cannot extract much revenue. Okay, they need more expenses for the company. Okay, the company need more expenses to rule here. So to to meet those growing expenses, from where will they get this money, or where will they get these resources? They will have to impose taxes and revenues in high amount now. So to impose this, they will have to introduce new revenue settlement. So accordingly they will now redefine the rights of people. Okay, earlier these village people, their rights were different. They needed to cultivate crops for their subsistence, and now their rights will be different according to the new company's settlement. And they will produce what company wanted, not actually what the countryside wanted. That means those village people, they will be forced to cultivate the products or the crops that will be commercially beneficial for the company. We already know that East India Company came here initially for trading purpose. So although it became the Diwan, that means although it got the right to collect revenue, but their inner trading as a trader, okay, they did not actually deny themselves as a trader. They saw themselves as a trader at first. Okay, that is why they will see everything from their economic benefit. And the company's idea was to increase revenue for collecting or for buying goods in India as cheaply as possible. Okay, the revenue should, they did not want to set up a regular system of assessment and collection of revenue. Okay, so at first in Bengal we will see permanent settlement, and that was fixed at a high rate and permanently, no changes will be done there. And the idea was to collect a increased amount of revenue and buy those silk and cotton from India at a cheaper rate. Okay, for their industries in Britain. So earlier what happened, the company actually bought these goods, these raw materials of silk and cotton at a very cheaper rate only, but the demand was met, the demand of this raw material was met by importing gold and silver from Britain. Okay, but now as, and now they could buy these raw materials in the from the revenue they have collected in Bengals. That means what, by 1865 they have met the demands through the revenue, through the high revenue they have collected, they have met the demands of raw materials. But did this system actually help Bengal? We will see that. Okay, so it was, revenue was so high that people were facing, Bengal economy was facing a deep crisis. Okay, Bengal economy was facing a deep crisis. The artisans, those who were producing their products here, they were facing decline because those production of artisanal crafts were not in demand in Bengal now, because uh, the peasants had to sell raw materials to the company at a lower price, and those raw materials were sent to Britain, and those products, finished products, were again sold in India here. Okay, the market here. So because of those finished products, these local artisanal products were declining. Okay, people were used to those products, machine products. So local artisans were declining, they were facing crisis now, and peasants were also on the other hand facing this crisis. Like, they were required to cultivate what the company wanted, and on top of that they were required to pay high dues to the company, the high revenue demand to the company. Okay, and on top of that, whatever whatever the produce, they have to sell to the company at a low price. That means what, at on one side the uh, company is so much pressurizing these peasants that whatever they are selling, they are not getting any profit for them. Okay, the peasants, they are not getting any profit from the products they are they are selling to the company. And top of that, they have to pay revenue to the company while they are not earning any profit, and they have to pay a high revenue from where they will pay. So this uh, due to this, one third of the population of Bengal, they have actually deserted from Bengal. They have actually wiped out, okay, because they have faced such a huge uh, terrible famine. Okay, 10 million people in Bengal were killed in the 1770 famine in Bengal. Okay, one third of the population wiped out, and many of them had fled away from here. Okay, they flew away from here because they were facing a huge crisis under the company's new revenue policy. So this we will see in details. At first, when permanent settlement was introduced by the company to improve agriculture, because at first the people already agriculture was in winds, and company had to improve the agriculture, then only they will collect the revenue, high revenue they were demanding. So we will see in details in this chapter how the revenue settlement was imposed. Okay, the permanent settlement was imposed in 1793. Okay, and with whom the permanent settlement was done? Mainly the jamindars of Bengal. They are also called rajas or talukdars. And the rajas and talukdars were asked by the company to collect the rent from the peasants. Okay, from the rent they were required to pay for the land to the jamindars, and jamindars will ultimately pay this revenue to the company. This amount, whatever the amount, okay, in permanent settlement was fixed permanently. Okay, and what they thought, but by fixing this revenue amount, they thought that the company will get a regular flow of revenue. Okay, and also thought that when the land will improve its production, then the jamindar will be benefited from this increased production, and from this increased production, the revenue will not be increased, so zamindars will be benefited. Okay, as the zamindars will be benefited, the company thought that zamindars will uh, invest this extra amount, extra profit on the land. Okay, production of the land, to increase the production of the land. But there were some problems in permanent settlement. What kind of problems were there? As the company thought that their extra income from the land will be invested by the zamindar in improving the land. But did this actually happen? No, this did not happen. Okay, in permanent settlement, this kind of problems were there. The company officials thought that zamindars will invest, but they did not invest it. So why this jamindars did not actually wanted to invest in the land? That is one important question here. So actually the company's rule was that if any jamindars fail to pay the revenue, okay, fail to collect the revenue from the peasant and pay, there was one punishment, okay, for this. So the jamindari, okay, the area under which the zamindar was collecting the rent, okay, that entire land was sold off at auction. Auction, you know, that means whoever will pay the highest price, the land will be sold to them. So those who fail to pay the revenue, those zamindars, their land was sold at auctions. And because the revenue was so high, the peasants, they did not pay the rent to the revenue, and ultimately the zamindars failed to pay the revenue to the land, sorry, to the company. So this was the problem initially. So later on, after 10 years, the situation little bit changed. Okay, in Bengal the prices rose, the agriculture production was more in Bengal. Okay, therefore what does it mean? There will be increased income of the zamindars. Okay, but this increased income will not gain any profit for the company, because in permanent settlement, the settlement was made in such a way that there will be no change in future. The amount fixed is fixed. Okay, so that is why the company will have no gain for this high revenue, high increase rates of income. Okay, there was more production, there will be more rent, the revenue, sorry, zamindars will be asking from the peasants because of more production. Okay, the peasants also, because of their more production, they could sell more. Now they will have more resources, but the company's gain will be same as before. Okay, it will be same. So as the zamindars are getting more income, but they did not have interest, any kind of interest in improving their land. Okay, uh, because they did not want to risk their income in again investment. Okay, but they, most of them earlier, okay, before the 1 decade, they have already lost their land in this auction. Okay, so now they did not want to improve the land, and this fixed permanent settlement was again oppressive on the cultivators. What was the problem with the cultivator? Those who paid rent to the zamindar, their problem was that zamindars were now demanding very high rent. Okay, although the revenue was same that he had to pay to the company, but for his own benefit and interest, the zamindars oppress the peasants. Okay, the peasants at some point of time, they had to take loan from the money lender to pay this rent. Okay, so in this way there was no improvement in the agriculture because of the no interest of the zamindar, and even the peasants were oppressed. They could not cultivate on that land again. They were evicted from the land if they did not pay the rent to the zamindar. So system became totally corruptive. Okay, corrupted. So now you will see new revenue systems devised by the company. Those we will discuss in our next class, and from the next class onwards it will be a video class. So today's class, we have discussed four topics. The company becomes the divan. Okay, next topic is revenue for the company. Next topic, the need to improve agriculture, and the need to improve agriculture means this is the first settlement made in 1793, the permanent settlement in Bengal. And what was the problems in permanent settlement, we have discussed this in this audio class. Thank you so much.